Welcome to Candid Talk. We are celebrating the World Breastfeeding Week, and I'm just glad that you are there watching. Please, if you've been watching and you've been with us, do subscribe. And if you haven't, please leave a comment or a like or share with a friend who might need this information. Today, I'm hosting a beautiful lady. We'll get to hear her story around breastfeeding and a beautiful initiative that she has started that could change your life or a friend's life if you do share this video. Let's get started. Hi Tracy, welcome to Candid Talk.
Hi Adele, thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. I'll just give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the people and your profile, please.
Okay. My name is Tracy Ahumuza. I am a health communicator. I work in the health communication space. I am also the founder of Ata Breast Milk Community, which is a foundation that is registered under the Alyssa Marie Foundation. So it's a program of the Alyssa Marie Foundation. I lead that.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know how many people have heard about breastfeeding communities. I don't know about that, but let's get into the story. Why are you so passionate about breastfeeding?
It's because of my personal story. I had no idea how important breastfeeding was, and I was pregnant for 9 months, but I had no idea how important it would be for my child, especially since she needed an operation at birth, which meant that for post-operative nutrition or for babies who need to somehow be in the neonatal intensive care unit, which is a nursery, they have to use only breast milk. That's not something I heard about before I gave birth. So I had the baby, and then I was told, and I had formula in the hospital. I was then told that you have to bring the breast milk. And I said, what do you mean? I have formula. They said, no, for these babies, they're special. We do not give them formula until a certain age has passed.
Okay, let's go to the beginning. So you became pregnant for 9 months and you came to give birth. What exactly happened at that stage? How did the baby end up in that nursery?
My daughter had an omphalocele. It's a small condition where they have to, depending on the size, they have to do a surgical procedure around the navel area, and then take her to the neonatal intensive care unit to recover. She did well. The surgery went very well. Everything was great, but the important thing in such a situation is to give the baby breast milk so that they can get better, like they can thrive, right?
You had given birth. It's always assumed that
it's a C-section, yeah.
You should be able to breastfeed your child. How, in this case, were you not able to breastfeed?
I had a C-section, and I'm not sure if it's just for me, but I did hear that breast milk does not come immediately. It's not automatic for everybody. It takes maybe 3 days or 2 days, but my daughter had a surgery within hours of her birth, so she needed breast milk immediately. And then later on, I was told that I could get a breast milk donor to give the child milk while my milk came in. And I was like, wow, I could have prepared for that, but no one told me.
I actually do understand you, because when I gave birth to my son, it took me 2 weeks
to get
breast milk. And in that period, I really lost weight. It was the most stressing period of my life.
Yeah,
and
can imagine.
How then did the baby?
Well, she did well for the first few days. She was improving, her oxygen levels were better, she was fine, and then she suddenly died on the Monday, 3 days after she was born. There was no autopsy that was done, so we don't know what went wrong, but I know that it had nothing to do with inability to get breast milk, but I think it would have made a difference, because breast milk is post-operative nutrition. I would find that out much later.
Wow, it's very sad, and I don't know don't know how you pull through that.
Well, I have had a community of people that have supported me throughout, trying to discover my purpose after my daughter was born. Because for a long time before I had her, I felt like this was the future. This is what I was made for, to be a mother. I was so excited. And then she came and then she died. And then I was like, okay, now what? What do I do? And the night before she passed, I had the word attack come to me in the form of my initials and her initials, which is Alyssa Taha and Tracy Ahumuza. And I wanted to create, so when she passed away, my breast milk came because my sister-in-law had given me breast milk to give her in that time. But then my breast milk came. So when my breast milk came, I thought, oh my God, I need to pay this forward because there must be a baby out there that needs this milk. And I reached out to my doctors, I reached out to hospitals, that knew about the need for breast milk. And everyone just kept saying, no, we can't take it because we have nowhere to put it. And I said, I've just given birth. Everybody knows my status. I can share all my results with you. I can pump the breast milk because I have machines I had bought for the purpose. I have bags. I'm willing to even nurse a baby. But everyone just kept saying, no, just rest, relax. At some point, I was actually told by some hospital to go there in person. Now, imagine you've just lost your child. They want you to go to a hospital where mothers are either pregnant or about to give birth. So there was that dynamic.
That's your motivation to start this community. Let's talk
Yes.
about the Atta
Breast milk community. Yes.
What motivated you to get to that stage? The baby has gone. Very unfortunate. But now you have that passion to do this. Where do you get that motivation from? It's not easy.
Because I wanted to make my daughter's life count. She was here for a very short time, but I was also that mother who didn't know these things. So I wanted very much to raise awareness about breastfeeding and the value of it to newborns who are fragile, right? Especially to the fragile newborns. So I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to use my experience to empower other women to know that, no hospital is going to give you all the information you need to make the right decision for your child. You might need other mothers or people who've been in situations like yours to tell you so that you can work out better.
I went for all my antenatal classes. That's a fact. I did. As a first-time mom, I was very excited about it. So I attended almost every antenatal class.
Yes.
I was never told that I would fail to breastfeed my son in the first 2 weeks. So the boy is there. I have no milk.
Yeah.
We are struggling, and mine was because the nipples were flat. That's what I was told. My nipples was flat, so
that
I couldn't
happens.
latch.
Inverted nipples.
When I was pregnant, I could have been doing something about it, but I was never told that it's a possibility.
Preparation.
The preparation of it. So my son,
Very
the first
key.
hours, he was on glucose, trying to keep him, the energy as we figure it out.
Yeah.
And it went on for 2 weeks, and he had to use formula at some point. It's not something that we get to be told most of the time.
Yeah.
But you got out from this bad experience, you picked this energy out of it and this motivation to start this initiative that I think will save so many lives. So now this Atta breastfeeding community has started. What then happens in that process?
Okay, so initially what we had done, or what I wanted to do was, because it's called the breast milk community, it's basically, we get lactating mothers, people who are breastfeeding, we tell them about the need for someone else to get breast milk, and then they sign up to donate. We have them tested, and they donate milk. So initially we used to just pair families, because I realized, for me, I was lucky. My sister-in-law was, she had just given birth. But I remember in the weeks after my daughter had died, when I was just starting the community, there were mothers in hospital whose own relatives had refused to give them breast milk because of superstitions, and yet the babies were in the neonatal intensive care unit. One was around 750 grams. She's a big girl now. She's almost turning 1 year old. And another one was from Juba. She had given birth here. She had no family. She had no friends. She had no way of finding a breast milk donor. And because she didn't really have community. And so I created that community to to encourage people, to teach people about donation. In a certain instance also, some mother signed up to donate milk. This other person tested her, and then the husband said, no, you can't donate. So the initial thing was to pair families, but after that we realized that it was getting more and more difficult to control the process, because say you sign up to be a breast milk donor, and then you fall sick, and then maybe for 2 weeks you don't have milk because you're stressed, or you have to travel and yet this person has paid for you to be tested with a guarantee that you will give them breast milk for at least a month or so. And we can't guarantee that you'll be available during that time. So what we did now was test mothers, get the milk while it's available, keep it safe and stored under the correct conditions. Also monitor the transportation, because hospitals don't do that. People are moving with milk which is raw under different temperatures. So we keep it, and then we hope that one day we'll be able to pasteurize the milk. That's why that's a long-term. The long-term goal. Start the pasteurization process, store the milk for longer, but also have it readily available to give to babies. Because right now we give you the milk, you pasteurize at your own. When you receive the milk, it's frozen. When you're cooling it, when you're defrosting it, you pasteurize and you give to the baby.
This conversation I get to understand that there are many children or many mothers going through this condition or this state, and we don't know about it. Actually, to be honest with you, when we met and had a conversation, I shed tears, you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
I was in shock that there's so many moms out there.
I'll give you some statistics on that. Yeah. Uganda is the country around the world number 28 in premature birth rates. Like, we are number 28 of all the countries in the world. We are rated number 28 for premature birth rates. Why breast milk matters for preterms is because their intestines are not yet ready to digest anything other than breast milk. That's why they give them they give them glucose as they wait. But for babies who are extremely fragile, who have had to have an operation, asphyxia, any sort of thing, they need immediate nutrition, because the important thing for a newborn to survive is nutrition, air, and warmth. If you don't have those three, they can die within minutes, because every minute counts for a newborn, especially the preterms who are underweight, sick, or for some other reason fragile. Breast milk is what even the WHO recommends. And if it's not available, then it's from a milk bank. But we don't have a milk bank in the country, or we didn't until December this year, last year. So now we have one milk bank, but it's not able to give every mother that needs it, because it's in a private hospital, private non-profit. Then another statistic that you might find important is that 200,000 newborns die in Uganda under the age before 1 year old. But half of those die before 6 months. Then 45,000 of those die in the first month. Now, breast milk saves lives. There is evidence, there is research that has been done, there is so much work that has been done. That is why breast milk banks all over the world are, rising up. They went down, they were there before in the 70s, but they went down because of HIV and whatnot. But we've since learned that if you test the mother for diseases that might be transmitted through breast milk, hepatitis, syphilis, VDRLs basically, if you test those and then you store the milk below a certain temperature, and then you can do a home-based pasteurization method, the milk is safe to consume. It's that simple, if you don't yet have a breast milk bank. So we can't afford, so breast milk bank machines will cost something. I remember the machine that we wanted to buy in last breastfeeding week was worth about 50 million Uganda shillings. And it pasteurizes 3 liters every 4 hours. Just 3 liters of milk.
And it's that expensive?
It's that expensive. But what I need to also maybe give you is that I said 200,000 newborns die every year, but worldwide, 9 million. So if Uganda, imagine our population, but we are contributing 200,000. to 9 million deaths worldwide.
That's because we need to have.
We need to understand. Breastfeeding. So breastfeeding saves 820,000 lives annually, and it adds about $300 billion into the global economy. Just breastfeeding. Like if we could just breastfeed or donate or whatever it is, that's how much we add into the economy. That's how many lives we save.
I've been feeling guilty. When I travel, I pump the milk and power it. I've been feeling so guilty that could have saved a life. But also, my son is now 2 years and 1 month old, and I'm still breastfeeding him, and everyone is looking at me with the eyes of, really? He's too old? Yeah. But I feel like I'm making up for the time he lost. At the same time, I'm guilty that I could have saved a life out there.
You can't save everybody, and that's what I try to tell mothers. Donation cannot always happen. You can't save everybody. The sentiment is what counts, and there are different ways to contribute to the cause. Just talking about breastfeeding, just breastfeeding your child, you're contributing.
I'm contributing
to the global economy. You're doing a lot as it is. And that's what I try to encourage mothers. You don't have to personally donate breast milk. There are different ways. You can tell a mother about donation. You can donate to our cause. You can just support a mother who is breastfeeding. If you're an employer, you can make sure she can express milk, and store her milk in a freezer somewhere that is safe. All those things.
I think there are also some workplaces that have a nursing area where you come with the babies and then you can nurse your child.
Yes.
Those workplaces, I commend them so much, especially in this week of
breastfeeding. There's a theme even for that this year.
What's the theme?
Educate and I think inform. I'm sure you'll find it at some point.
And that's what we're doing.
Yes.
We're doing our part at Candid.
Educate, yes.
Some to create awareness, even if it's one mother or two, we are happy to save those.
Yes.
Just so they can get this information. Don't go home and get stuck when you can reach out and get help with breast milk.
Yes.
Now, the biggest question I had, the stereotypes that come with me donating milk to you, the trust, the myth. How do we get that out of not just the mother, but even the father? Because for me to donate milk to anyone, sometimes I have to get consent from the people I live with. How do we get to that level where everyone understands the importance of having breast milk and donating to another mother?
So what we do now is that we make sure that we get consent. We have consent forms that you fill in when you're donating. We get consent when you're receiving. You know about our processes. So it is all documented really well. But another thing that I find really important is that we need to talk about certain things. We need to normalize the conversation about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding and breast milk donation is not the responsibility of a mother, or it's not the responsibility of women. It is the responsibility of employers. It is the responsibility of husbands, of fathers, of brothers, of community members. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to save a child. We need to be able to just do, each of us, our part. And it really doesn't take, if you don't have money, you have a mouth. You can speak. You can speak about it. You can encourage a mother, there's always something you can do. So for me, that is very key. For us as a foundation, we give out the breast milk free of charge because we understand that if you need breast milk, you're most likely in a situation where you're either under a lot of duress financially, emotionally, and physically. You did not choose this. So our consent forms, when we give out milk, we say, you've received this gift of life. We hope that one day you'll be able to pay it forward. And
that builds a community.
That's how the community, exactly. You're part of the community.
You have to do something in the future for it.
And you don't even have to, by the way. You don't have to give back because Ubuntu. You are because I am.
Yes, we are because, someone around us, all of us
did
have
something.
Had someone to raise us.
Yes.
Whether it's in our work.
Someone was kind to me, and I must pay that kindness forward. It doesn't matter if it doesn't need to be the same way the kindness was offered to me. It can be in a different way.
And you can donate. How can our people who are watching donate to the foundation?
Okay, so the foundation is registered under the Alyssa Marie Foundation, which is my daughter's name. Her first name and her middle name. Atta is her name, last name, and my name, last name. But someone told me it sounds like Mata. So we'll go with that.
Oh, it blends in.
Yes. So we have mobile money numbers for Airtel and MTN. We also have a Diamond Trust account, a bank account that you can give to.
Don't mind, you can mention the numbers.
I will have to give them to you because we'll leave them. Yes. And also we have a partnership with Rocket Health, which goes to make sure we can test the mothers in the comfort of their home, because that's the other thing. When I wanted to donate, it was so difficult. They kept saying I have to go to the hospital. It was a pandemic, you guys.
Yes, and you're not in the right
state of mind to be around babies. Or, I want to save them, but I don't want to be around them. So we also make sure that that partnership, we have to pay for testing. So we have an account with Rocket Health, and they just contact our donor mothers directly. They find them wherever they are. They test them. They're comfortable.
Home, so you have no complaint.
When we are onboarding them, we make sure that they have freezers and all of that. So our thermometers and cooler boxes and all of that, that's what we use to collect the milk. So any support towards making sure we test mothers, towards making sure that we build this milk bank, so towards making sure that we survive until we get a bigger grant is, I will take it. It's appreciated.
For all the viewers, this subject for me was critical. I was really touched. I was emotional because I went through the same situation for 2 weeks and I didn't know what to do. Now I know that I can save a life. You can do the same. You leave the numbers on the screen and all the account details that you can donate to or you can contribute to, and you could save someone out there. What is the long-term goal?
So the long-term goal is to create a breast milk bank. Like to create a bank where we pasteurize the milk, where it's big and beautiful, and mothers can, come together as a community to celebrate this thing of giving life, liquid gold. Maybe one thing I want to add lastly is that people will say, why do we need to do breast milk? Why do we need to? There's formula. There's a disease called necrotizing enterocolitis, which rots the intestines of newborns. It's very, very dangerous and it kills within hours. So knowing about that and the fact that one of the #1 causes of death in Uganda, according to the CDC website, is neonatal complications. That's the #1 cause of death in the country. So if we can understand how important it is to at least make sure this breast milk that saves lives is available to everyone who needs it, we will have done a lot. So yeah, if I can create that breast milk bank and regional communities within the country and hopefully within the region, because this breast milk community is new. It's not on the African continent.
Literally, I was just looking at information that was new to me. Imagine,
it's new.
I have access to information. I can do all the research I need to do, but I did not know that there can be a breastfeeding community that can do something like that. And you're very passionate about it.
I am. And I hope that one day, with people like you, I'm very grateful for giving me this opportunity to speak about it. But it's people like you that speaking about your experience and encouraging other people to talk about theirs as well. That's what makes the community. That's what makes us. I mean, newborns don't ask to be here.
They don't.
They deserve at least a chance at life, a great start, a nutritional great start. And if we can give it to them, we will have done our part. We can die. We can go. It's fine.
I'm just glad that I'm able to do the small part that I can do to create awareness, but also to help a mother out there. And I always say, even if it's one person, I am happy with that. If we can spread the message all over, especially in this week, and get to create a difference, I am happy with that.
If 2 more mothers breastfeed, if 1 more mother donates, we have done our job. We can go home.
Totally. As we conclude this, Tracy, Just one word for the mothers out there who are struggling with the same, who could have the same story as you do. What is that one word of encouragement you would give them, especially in this week?
One word. That's a hard
It can
one.
be a sentence, it can be an encouragement that you would give a mother.
You can do it. You can do it. That's my
And
that's my
she did.
encouragement.
I mean, how you bounced back to use that loss of your loved one to create this community is really, really great. Thank you so much for your passion. And thank you for coming to Candid Talk. I'm just delighted, and I'm very emotional about this.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very emotional about this because it means so much to me. And if you're watching Candid Talk, you're wondering why I'm like this. If I knew this was there, my son would never have gone through what he went through in the past 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Bye.